It all started with a live that nobody expected, and once it began, nobody could look away. Jim Jones, the Dipset legend known for keeping it cool under pressure, hit that go live button with red eyes, shaky hands, and a voice that cracked before he even spoke a word. Thousands flooded in within seconds. Comments flying, questions pouring. Something was wrong. Seriously wrong. "I ain't even want to do this on here," he mumbled. "But y'all gonna find out anyway." And then he said it. Chrissy betrayed me. The chat exploded. Fans were stunned. Chrissy, the ride or die, the one who held him down for decades. What could she possibly have done that had Jim Jones breaking down in front of the world? He tried to hold it together, but tears fell. And before he could stop himself, he started talking. About secrets, about messages, about a lie that had been eating at him for weeks. And then he showed the receipts. Deem's voicemails, one name stood out. Cameron. By the time the live ended, the internet was on fire. Relationships were questioned. Alliances were shattered. And for the first time in years, Jim Jones wasn't just trending, he was unraveling. And it all started with what Chrissy did. When Jim Jones ended the live, the silence was louder than anything he had said. People didn't just log off. They stayed, staring at the blank screen, scrolling back through the comments, refreshing his profile, hoping for another post. Something? Anything. But nothing came. For hours, social media boiled over. Twitter threads were flying, Instagram pages reposted screen recordings of the live, blogs put together timelines and theory posts. Everybody had an opinion, but nobody had answers. What exactly did Chrissy do? What were those DMs Jim flashed on screen? And how was Cameron involved? Because if you paused the live at just the right second, you could see one message sent from Chrissy's account to a number saved as K, short, cold. 3 words, he don't know. And beneath that, a response that made the internet explode. Keep it that way. Theories started immediately. Was K Cameron? Was Chrissy hiding something from Jim Jones? And if so, for how long? One blogger dug up a clip from a 2011 reality show episode where Chrissy and Cameron exchanged an awkward hug. Another clip showed Jim brushing off a question about Cam during an old interview. Suddenly, old drama was being re-examined like fresh evidence at a crime scene. Then, things got worse. An anonymous tip hit a gossip page with over 3 million followers. It claimed that Chrissy had been in secret communication with Cameron for months. Nothing romantic, at least not yet, but messages. Emotional, personal, deep. They was talking like best friends, the tip read, but behind Jim's back, and she said stuff about Jim that wasn't right. Real disrespectful. People didn't know what to believe. Fans were arguing in the comments. Team Chrissy, Team Jim. Some said Jim was overreacting. Others said Chrissy had finally been exposed. And then, a screenshot leaked from an unknown source. This time, it wasn't a message. It was a photo. Chrissy, sitting on a couch in what looked like a recording studio. The man beside her, blurred. But the chain he wore, the profile of his face, and the signature pose told the internet exactly who it was. Cameron. The caption was simple, just a conversation. But the timing was everything. That photo was taken 2 weeks before Jim's emotional live. Now fans were putting the pieces together, and back at the center of it all was Jim. Quiet, silent, unseen. Until the next day, he went live again. No warning, no music, just his face, tired and raw. "I ain't gonna say much," he began, "but I need to speak. Y'all saw the messages. You saw the photo. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this been breaking me. And it's not just what happened, it's who did it." His voice cracked again. He rubbed his eyes. Cam was my brother. That's blood. Not just rap, not just Dipset. We've been through it all. We've been to war. And now, this. He paused. And Chrissy. I loved that woman more than anything. I still do. But what do you do when the 2 people you trust most been talking behind your back like you ain't even in the room? The comment section was on fire. He kept going. They told me it was just conversations. Just venting, just checking in. But they ain't tell me when it started. They ain't tell me how deep it went. They just said, "It wasn't like that." But it felt like that. It felt exactly like betrayal. Fans were begging for names, for details, for receipts. He didn't give them all, but he gave one more message. One more line, Cam told her. "I still got you if it all falls apart." What that mean, huh? What that really mean? The live cut again. But the damage had already spread. Now it wasn't just a messy story. It was war. Because hours later, Cameron broke his own silence. He didn't go live. He posted a story. A single black screen. White text. "Never touched her. Never tried. But I listened." 'Cause you stopped listening years ago. People couldn't believe it. Was Cam saying he was just being a friend? Or was he calling Jim out for being distant, distracted, unavailable? And Chrissy? No post, no comment, not even a like. That made things worse. The silence from her felt like a confession. And then the blogs got their hands on a recording. A voice memo. Someone in the background. Definitely Chrissy. Laughing softly. "I can talk to whoever I want. Jim don't own me." The voice replying? Quiet. Male. Not clear, but people were convinced. It was Cam. Suddenly, the fanbase split in three. Those who thought Jim was the victim, those who thought Chrissy had every right, and those who believed Cam was setting both of them up. The family, meanwhile, started weighing in. A cousin of Jim's posted a tweet that said, "We've been told him she wasn't solid." Cameron's longtime friend liked a comment that said, "Cam always been too real for fake drama, even freaky Zeke." Posted a cryptic video with no caption, just him shaking his head and muttering, "Never thought it would come to this." It was getting ugly. And it wasn't even over, because then, out of nowhere, an audio clip surfaced. This one was different. This one had Jim's voice. But it wasn't recent. It was from 2 years ago. He was on the phone with someone. The quality was rough, but his tone was sharp. "I don't trust nobody around her no more, not even the homies. They get too comfortable, she gets too friendly, and I ain't trying to be the fool again." Fans started asking, was this a pattern? Had this been building up for years? And if so, why now? Why was everything exploding at once? That's when a fourth name entered the mix. Unexpected, quiet, and dangerous. A woman posted a thread saying she used to date a guy who worked security for a studio. Both Jim and Cam used. She claimed she'd seen Chrissy leave with Cam more than once, late at night. "Nothing happened," she said, "but the energy, it was off. It was off. No photos. No proof. Just a claim." But in this story, claims were enough to light fires. People weren't asking if it was true. They were asking what else they didn't know. And behind all the noise, all the posts, all the videos, there was one person who still hadn't said a word. Chrissy. The silence was becoming deafening, and that's exactly where the next twist began to take shape. The silence from Chrissy wasn't just a pause, it was a statement. The longer she said nothing, the more people started filling in the blanks for her. Some said she was guilty, others claimed she was protecting Jim. A few even believed she was working behind the scenes to fix the damage before it all crumbled, in public. But the silence broke. Finally. And not with a press release or an apology. Chrissy posted a photo. Just one. A close-up selfie. No makeup, no smile, no caption, and behind her, clearly in the background, sat a man. His face wasn't shown, but the side of his neck, a chain, and a hoodie with a familiar logo said enough. Wasn't Cameron, it was Jim. The internet froze. Were they back together? Had they worked it out? Was this a subtle way of saying, mind your business? For about 5 hours, it worked. Fans started calming down. Some deleted their angry tweets. A few even started resharing throwback photos of Jim and Chrissy, calling them unbreakable. Then the second post came, a video clip. Quiet audio. Chrissy's voice. People love drama, love telling your story before you do, but the truth is, some things don't break. They bend. And when they bend, you get to see who's really holding on. Comments were filled with hearts, prayers, and speculation. But buried halfway through the comments, one stood out. From Cameron, a simple comment, say less, no emojis, no follow-up. That one comment brought everything back to the surface. Was Cam throwing shade? Was he backing her up? Or was it a warning? Jim Jones didn't respond publicly, but he was seen, 2 hours later, at a hookah lounge in Queens, surrounded by friends, laughing and nodding along to the music. No Chrissy, no phone in his hand, just that signature chain and a face that said nothing at all. And yet, someone recorded him, posted a short clip with the caption, "He smiling, but his eyes heavy." People started analyzing that video like it was a courtroom exhibit. And then, from nowhere, the internet got another bombshell, a new DM leak. This time from Chrissy's stylist, the messages. Between Chrissy and someone saved as CFAM. Short messages. "He's hurting. Don't let him spiral. He still don't know everything." That last one hit hard. Still don't know everything? What else was there? Someone zoomed in on the profile photo next to the CFAM contact. Grainy. Dark. But you could barely make out the outline. It looked like a woman. Now the theories went into overdrive. Was Chrissy hiding more than just messages with Cam? Was there another layer? Another secret? Blogs started pulling up old footage again. One clip in particular started trending. A behind-the-scenes moment from a red carpet event years ago. Chrissy speaking to a woman in a tight green dress. Both. Smiling, but the body language? Stiff. Cold. A single frame caught Chrissy's hand pulling back fast, like she'd been burned. The woman? An ex-friend of Chrissy's who had suddenly stopped appearing in photos after 2019. One gossip page posted, "Remember Trina from the Hairline collab? Where'd she go?" No answers, just more questions. Then, in a twist nobody expected, Chrissy went live. No warning, no filter. Just a black hoodie, hair pulled back, and a look that meant business. "I see y'all talking," she began, "and I stayed quiet out of love. For Jim. For us. But people want to push a narrative, fine. Here's mine." She took a breath. "Yes, me and Cam talked. Not in secret. Not behind backs. But when me and Jim weren't good, Cam checked in. He didn't press. Didn't flirt. He asked if I was okay. Pause. Blink. Jim ain't perfect. Y'all act like he's never hurt me, never lied, never made me question my place. But I stayed. I fought. And I forgave." Then her voice changed. Sharper. Colder. "But don't think for 1 second that I owe anybody my silence. If Jim want to fix this, he gotta start telling the truth too." Fans were shocked. Was Chrissy flipping the blame? Hinting Jim started all this? Or was she finally cracking under pressure? Whatever it was, it hit hard. 10 minutes after Chrissy's live ended, Jim posted a black screen on his story. No words, just the sound of his voice, low and tired. "I'm tired of all this." He didn't explain, but that was enough. That same night, Cameron posted a boomerang, just him pouring a drink. No music, no caption. One fan commented, "You just waiting for it to burn, huh?" Cam liked the comment, and just like that, the fire was alive again. Next came the text messages. Leaked again. This time, not from Chrissy, not from Jim, but from an unknown source claiming to be a member of Jim's family. The messages suggested Jim had been hiding something himself, a past connection, with someone close to Chrissy, and the word revenge appeared more than once. Now the tables were flipping fast. Was this even about Chrissy's messages anymore? Or had Jim lit a match 2 years ago and now couldn't control the flames? People were stunned. Emotions ran high. The fan base was torn down the middle. Chrissy's supporters posted, "She's been suffering in silence for years." Jim's defenders said, "So what? She went to his enemy." Cam's name stayed in the center of the storm. A blog reposted an old interview clip where Cam said, "I know too much to ever speak reckless." And now people were wondering, did Cam always know this would happen? Was he the architect or just the witness? But the biggest shock still hadn't hit yet. Because while the internet was picking sides, building timelines, and uncovering old wounds, something unexpected leaked. A private text chain between Chrissy, Jim, and someone labeled mediator. It was short. And the last message, allegedly from Jim, said, "Then let's go our separate ways. Peacefully." And that changed everything. The text hit like a punch to the chest. 3 simple words, but they echoed louder than any live, louder than the leaks, louder than Chrissy's whole speech. Go our separate ways. Fans couldn't believe it. Was this the official end? Had Jim finally walked away after nearly 2 decades of being together, breaking up, getting engaged, and staying linked no matter what? The messages weren't confirmed, but they didn't have to be. People believed them. And once people believe, the truth barely matters. Some said it was all for clout. Others said it was a cry for help. But the mood had shifted. This wasn't messy drama anymore. It was heartbreak. Real heartbreak. Because behind all the noise, behind all the cameras and blogs, were 2 people who had built a life. Shared homes, dreams, years of memories. And now, they were drifting apart in front of the whole world. Chrissy went quiet again. No posts. No stories. She didn't show up in the city for 3 days. Someone claimed to spot her in Jersey, alone, at a small cafe. No makeup. Hoodie pulled low. Just her and a cup of tea. Meanwhile, Jim was seen more than usual. Out with his team, moving like everything was normal. But fans weren't fooled. He wasn't the same. He wasn't laughing with his eyes anymore. Just his mouth. In one clip, a woman off camera asked him, "You good, Capo?" He replied, "Never better." But his hand gripped the table just a little. Too tight. Then came the moment no one saw coming. Mama Jones went live. Yes, Jim's mother. The one who had never been afraid to speak her mind and never needed permission to jump into the mix. She went live for exactly 11 minutes. No intro. No filter. "I wasn't gonna say nothing," she began. "But now everybody wanna act like they know my son better than me." She looked straight at the camera. He'd been holding that woman down for years. Through everything. Through her not liking me. Through her walking away. Through every up and down. And he did it with love. She shook her head. "But love don't mean nothing if it ain't returned the same way. I'm tired of seeing him hurt and still trying to look strong." The comments blew up. Then Mama Jones dropped a bomb. "Y'all don't even know half of it. This ain't the first time she let someone close get between them. This ain't the first time he had to pretend like it didn't break him." Fans gasped. What did that mean? Who was the first? Was there a history of this? No names were mentioned, and just when people thought it couldn't get more twisted, an old interview surfaced. Deep in the archives, one that never aired in full. Cameron and Jim Jones. Side by side, being asked about loyalty and relationships, Cam said something then that now hit different. When loyalty ain't mutual, somebody always ends up bleeding. People replayed that clip like it was a prophecy, because behind all this noise, all this heat, was something bigger. Pain. Not the kind you post, not the kind you turn into a lyric, but the kind that shows up in your eyes when no one's looking. Then, another piece surfaced. A deleted scene from a reality show. Chrissy and Jim in a quiet moment arguing low. "You say you love me, but you don't hear me," she said. "I hear you," Jim said, "but I'm tired of listening to things that never change." They looked at each other for a long time, and then he walked out of the room. That scene never aired. But now, it was everywhere, and with it came new questions. Had this been coming all along? Were we just watching the final cracks when the break started years ago? One fan tweeted, "What if they loved each other but never healed together?" Another wrote, "Sometimes forever don't mean always." And just like that, the mood shifted again, from anger to mourning. Then, as if the universe knew the internet was raw and waiting, Chrissy posted one more time, a single video. Quiet music, old clips, her and Jim smiling, hugging, traveling, laughing. At the end, one caption. "No matter what happens, we were real." It broke the timeline. People cried, reposted, commented things like, "This hurts more than my own breakup," and "Love ain't enough sometimes." And still, Jim didn't say a word. Until the next night. Jim Jones posted a video, black and white. Him in the studio, no jewelry, just headphones, hoodie, a mic. He didn't rap. He spoke. "I've been quiet because I had to be. Because sometimes pain don't need witnesses. It needs healing." He looked down, then back up. "I don't hate her. I never could. She's part of me. But sometimes love turns into weight. And you gotta decide if you're gonna carry it or let it go." He nodded once, like the decision had already been made. So if this is the end, let it be a peaceful one. No more lives, no more leaks, just silence and memory. That video hit like a farewell. Even Cam liked it. "And Chrissy?" She commented 3 red hearts. No words. Just that. And for a moment, the internet paused. Nobody knew what came next, but everybody knew they were watching the end of something that had lasted longer than most marriages. And then the final twist appeared. A message, not a leak. A public post from Chrissy's old friend, one who hadn't been seen in years. And what she said changed everything. The post came late. No one expected it. No build-up, no teaser. It dropped like a brick in a calm lake. Chrissy's old friend, the one from the red carpet clip, the one who hadn't been seen in years, she posted on her close friend's story first. Someone screen recorded it within minutes. And just like that, the internet had its next fire. A screenshot, a cropped photo. Chrissy, back in 2019, sitting across from someone, face not visible, but the outfit matched something Jim had worn. In a music video that year, she was leaning forward, eyes intense, body language guarded. But the caption, that wasn't the first time she asked me to keep something from Jim. And below that, the bomb. But I did, and I was wrong. Within an hour, her entire page was on lockdown. Profile switched to private. Comments off. DMs closed. But it didn't matter. The damage was already done. Bloggers, fan pages, even verified gossip outlets started digging, trying to find what had been hidden in plain sight all along. Someone unearthed an old YouTube vlog clip, deleted now, but saved by internet archivists, of Chrissy and the same friend shopping. And at one point, Chrissy whispered something while the mic was hot. "You don't need to know everything. It's better for both of us." That clip went viral again. But now with context, was she protecting Jim or protecting herself? And what had she hidden? Theories popped up faster than they could be debunked. Some said it was about money. Others claimed it was about an old affair. One wild thread even suggested Cam had known about the secret the whole time and used it to wedge himself back into Chrissy's world. But amidst all the noise, one truth emerged. There was more to this story than just hurt feelings and suspicious messages. There was something buried, and now it was clawing its way to the surface. Meanwhile, Jim Jones remained quiet. Not silent, but measured. No cryptic posts, no stories, just photos of studio sessions and casual hangouts, like he was trying to pull himself back into routine. But in one photo, fans noticed something missing: his engagement ring. For over a decade, Jim had worn that ring proudly, even through ups and downs, even when the wedding never came. That ring had become a symbol, and now it was gone. The comments noticed. "Fast, no ring? So it's really over. This hurts." Then came the podcast clip. A known industry insider, not directly connected to Jim, Chrissy, or Cam, but someone who'd worked with all three at different times. He sat down on a mic, took a breath, and said it plainly. The story y'all seeing online, that's the surface. But what really broke them was loyalty. And what loyalty means when you've been through too much together. He leaned in. I saw it. Years ago. The tension, the resentment. Love was still there. But so was ego. And ego don't compromise. The clip ended, but it left a shadow. Because now people were asking, was this whole thing doomed from the inside out? Friends started speaking up. Quietly. In comments. In liked tweets. One person who used to work with Chrissy posted, "You can love someone and still do things that break them." Another who knew Jim commented on a post, "Sometimes you stop talking because you know the next thing you say will end it for good." Fans didn't know what to do with all that. They wanted a villain, someone to blame, but now it felt like everyone was hurting. Even Cam, who still hadn't spoken, posted a black and white photo with one line underneath. "Some chapters ain't meant to be finished." And then Chrissy broke the silence again. Not with a post, with a blog. A long, emotional blog entry titled "What They Don't Know." In it, she wrote about love, time, betrayal, and healing. She didn't name names, didn't confirm or deny any rumors. But what she did say, "I loved him. Deeply. But we changed. And the truth is, sometimes when people change, they don't grow apart. They grow into different versions of themselves that don't recognize each other anymore." She continued, "The world only sees the highlights, the wins, the matching outfits and red carpets. But what they don't see is the pain, the fights, the nights I cried and he didn't notice, the mornings he woke up and I couldn't reach him anymore." One paragraph hit hardest. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. But I did talk to someone. I shouldn't have. Not because I wanted something new, but because I needed to feel heard. She didn't mention Cam by name, but everyone knew. Everyone knew. And in the last lines, she wrote, "Whatever comes next, I'll own my part. But don't forget, there's always more than one side to every goodbye." The post went viral instantly, shared over 1 million times in 12 hours. Celebrities started reacting. Some posted heart emojis, some shared cryptic messages of support, and in a rare moment, Beyoncé's fan page even reposted the blog with the caption, "Healing is a journey, not a performance." But fans still waited for Jim's response. They didn't have to wait long. The next night, Jim posted a short video. Black hoodie, no jewelry, just him and the camera. His voice was calm. "I read it," he said, "and I respect it." He paused. "Truth is, I wasn't always the man I should have been. And maybe that pushed her to places I didn't see coming." He took a deep breath. "But I never stopped loving her, and I still do. But love ain't always enough, especially when it's out of sync." He looked down. "So yeah, we going our own ways. For now, maybe forever. Maybe not." The comments were filled with heartbreak. But the final line? "No more drama. Just peace. I wish her the best." And I mean that. Then he ended the video. No outro, no music, just that. And just when everyone thought it was over, a message came from Cam. Not a tweet, not a live, but a short, grainy video. Him in a car, nighttime, barely lit. And what he said would change the whole tone of the final act. The car video was only 37 seconds long, but it made the internet stop cold. Cam sat in the driver's seat, one hand on the wheel, the other holding the phone at a shaky angle. City lights blurred through the back window. No music, no filter, just him. Quiet. He spoke low. "I ain't come here to cause no damage, but sometimes the truth don't care how loud it hurts." He looked into the camera, eyes heavy. "I never wanted her, but I listened because she needed someone to talk to, and because I remember what it's like when nobody hears you." Then he paused, the kind of pause that holds weight. "I didn't cross no line, not physically, but maybe emotionally. Maybe I should have backed off. Maybe I stayed in a space that wasn't mine. One more second. But I never disrespected him, not once. And if he ever want to talk, I'm here." Video off. No caption, no follow-up. The internet couldn't breathe. Some people said that was Cam's redemption arc. Others called it manipulation. But no one denied the honesty or the weight in his voice. What hit hardest wasn't what he said. It was what he didn't say, the parts he left in silence. And just like that, the last chapter started to write itself, because within 24 hours, everything began to change. Chrissy was seen with a close friend shopping in Soho. No tears, no hiding, just real. Present. A woman rebuilding herself from inside out. Jim was spotted on the rooftop of a recording studio in Harlem, working on what insiders said was the most personal album he's ever done. No press, no promo, just healing through lyrics. And he disappeared from social media altogether. No new posts, no comments, no likes. Some said he was laying low to avoid more drama. Others believed he had said what he needed to say and didn't need the spotlight anymore. But the fans, they weren't done. They started stitching together edits, romantic throwback reels, love story montages, heartbreak compilations. One TikTok, titled "The Fall of Black Love's Realest Couple," hit 10 million views in 48 hours. The story had gone beyond the people involved. Now it belonged to the audience. And maybe that was the saddest part, because while Jim, Chrissy, and Cam tried to find their footing again, the world kept consuming their pain like a reality show. And somewhere, in that space between love and betrayal, truth and misunderstanding, 3 lives were changed forever. A rumor sparked again that Jim's next album would feature a track called "Bend, Don't Break." And fans swore it was about Chrissy. A line from the leaked snippet said, "I loved you more than myself, but even mirrors crack when they feel invisible." That line spread fast. People tattooed it, quoted it, posted it on Broken Hearts and late-night captions. Meanwhile, Chrissy released a limited series podcast with a friend titled "On My Terms." In the first episode, she said, When women speak up, it's called drama. When they stay quiet, it's called guilt. Either way, we lose. So this time, I choose to speak. For me, it was raw, emotional, honest, and it went straight to number 2 on trending charts. She didn't name Jim, didn't mention Cam, but everyone felt the pulse beneath every word. The ripple effect kept going. People who'd never watched a single episode of their old reality shows started binge-watching every season. People who hadn't cared about hip-hop, relationships suddenly had opinions. This wasn't just a breakup anymore. It was a cultural moment, a symbol. The rise, the collapse, the silence, the truth, all wrapped in real human emotion. And still, even after all the noise, there were no real villains. Just people who loved too loud, too long, and maybe too blindly. Then, the final post came. From Jim. A photo. Black and white. An empty chair on his balcony. Sun setting. City lights beginning to flicker. Caption: "Thank you for everything. No regrets." Fans cried. Not because it was sad, but because it was honest, whole, peaceful. Chrissy reposted it to her story. No emoji, just that. And for the first time since the live that shook the internet, everything was still. No new leaks, no drama, just quiet. And that somehow was the loudest ending of all. Because sometimes the loudest goodbyes don't come with slamming doors or screaming matches. They come with silence, with peace, with letting go. And after all the receipts, all the reposts, all the heartbreak, the only thing left was the memory of a love that almost made it. And just like that, it ended. Not with a bang, not with a fight, but with stillness. With 2 people stepping back from something they once thought would last forever. Jim Jones. And Chrissy gave the world over a decade of loyalty, conflict, laughter, and vulnerability. And in the end, what shocked everyone wasn't a scandal. It was the silence. The decision to walk away without tearing each other down, without turning pain into more pain. Cameron, once at the center of the firestorm, faded back into the shadows. Not a villain, not a savior, just a man who showed up in someone else's storm and maybe stayed a little too long. Fans are still divided. Some say Chrissy was wrong. Some say Jim should have seen her pain. Some believe Cam played the long game. Others think this was always how it was going to end. But what do you think? Was this just a story of growing apart? Or was betrayal written between the lines from the start? Did Chrissy cross a line? Or was Jim already gone long before she ever looked away? And what about Cameron? Was he helping, hurting, or just caught in the middle? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. No filter. No holding back. Who do you believe? Who do you blame? And most importantly, who still deserves a second chance? If you felt something watching this story unfold, if you've ever been in a love that bent too far to bounce back, hit that like button, share this video, subscribe for more real stories, raw moments, and the kind of drama that hits deeper than gossip ever could. Because next time, the story might be even messier, and you won't want to miss it.